Hi, I'm Rick Rheins, Senior Rabbi at Temple Sinai in Denver, Colorado. This week's Torah portion is Ki Tavo from chapter 26 of the book of Deuteronomy through the very beginning of chapter 29. And in it, we have some of the rare occasions in the Torah where we actually have prayers and ritual, things that we're instructed to say and do on special occasions. And the first is Ki Tavo, when you come into the land and you have your crops, your harvest, bring the first fruits of that harvest to the place that God will choose, Hamakom Asher Yivchar Adonai, that being, of course, Jerusalem, the one place of the temple and the offerings. Bring that first offering. Then it tells you exactly what to say and to do. You bring the basket of the first fruits to the Kohanim, to the priests that are in Jerusalem at that time, and say, Arami Oved Avi. My father was a wandering Aramaean, or the Aramaeans caused my father to be a refugee, and he had to go down to Egypt to dwell there, and there we were oppressed, and then we came back, and it tells the story of our people. We do so at the Thanksgiving offering of the first fruits. It's an amazing piece of liturgy and a template for us as well. So the other liturgical pieces that we have include the tithing, that when you are harvesting your crop, have a tithe, 10% of it reserved for, well, sometimes it's for you and for the priest when you go to Jerusalem to celebrate the pilgrimages of Passover, of Shavuot, and of Sukkot. When you're in Jerusalem, that you have something to bring as an offering and that you and your family can enjoy. But also it says that you should have special years in which you dedicate the tithe for the poor, for those people who are without a crop or a harvest, who are in need of your help and hand. And so therefore, bring to them your tithe every third year. And then there is another liturgy in which you are instructed when we come into the land of Israel, that you shall have a ceremony of blessings and curses. So half the tribes will be on Mount Gerizim and they recite the blessings that if you live up to the ideals of Torah, these will be the blessings, the benefits to you and your family and for all of this society. And others will be on Mount Ebal and they will recite the curses, the consequences of misbehavior, that if we do not observe these moral and ethical precepts, these mitzvot, then our society, our family itself will pay the consequences. And then there's another piece of liturgy as well. It says, when you come into the land, you shall then write on these steles, you shall take big stones and plaster them and write on these big stones the words of the Torah. Be'er hetev, they shall be written in very clear ways so that everyone will be able to understand it. And the sages said, well, what that meant is that they translated it as well. So no matter what language you spoke, you'd be able to understand the words of the Torah. And that too is a part of our liturgy, and it reflects what Deuteronomy is all about, that our rituals, our prayers are to help us, A, recall the history of our ancestors, that we started off as slaves, refugees from the Arameans, from the Babylonians, the Persians. We were slaves in Egypt. And as refugees, after 40 years in the wilderness, we came into this land. And so we never should take for granted the harvest that we have, the peace that we have, the opportunities that we have to make this world a better place. We remember the humble times and the frightening times that we went through. So in Deuteronomy, 21 times there is the verb that's based on the letters Zayin Kaf Resh or Zachor, to remember. 21 times we're instructed, remember. Remember in the book of Deuteronomy. And 14 times it says, Lo tishkach, don't forget. And that's what prayer, that's what ritual and liturgy is all about. To make sure that we don't go through life just mindlessly, without thought and reflection, without thinking about where we were or what could have been, and to consider where we are right now and all the sacrifice, all the heroic deeds by our parents, our grandparents, and those who came before us. And you express appreciation for that. And you then in turn have that liturgy, that prayer to teach our children and our grandchildren to say, look, you come from this proud stock, you who are the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, of Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah. Don't you worry, things will be difficult at times, but remember and don't forget that you have this history behind you, this strength behind you, this determination to make this world a better place. Don't give up on yourself. And look around you in this world, and there will be those who are in need of an extra hand. You be generous to them. And don't think, well, I picked myself up by my own bootstraps. I'm the one who made my world such a wonderful place, and I'm so secure and well off. No, no, no. Things happen in this world, and you look at others who are struggling and suffering, and you have a broken heart too, and say to them, I'm here to help. I'll help whatever I can. And so this Torah portion, Ki Tavo, when you come into this promised land, this land of promise, the land of Israel, it's a reflection of the Jewish story. Remember, and lo tishkach, and don't forget, we're taught to remember, not to forget, and to express and to teach. Shabbat Shalom.